Well, some more news from communist America, because actually we're getting more communistic as we speak. And, I'm a person that's neither a liberal or conservative. It seems like, I guess I was leaned more conservative, but there's so much stuff about the conservative movement I can't stand because they're mean. They're mean people. A lot of them are. And liberals, I think, are idiots. So I don't know what the hell I could say I am, really, but this is an article about private prisons. The more Americans they put behind bars, the more money they make. So more jails means more profit. Slave labor. Slave labor. Let me just put it to you that way. 2 words that basically describe the whole deal. Slavery means money for some people. And this is what's going on. So anyway, I'm going to get into this. In America, the United States, the land of the free, home of the brave, approximately 130,000 people are locked up in private prisons that are being run for profit by profit companies, and that number is growing very rapidly. Overall, the U.S. is 25% of the entire global prison population, although it only has 5% of the global population. In other words, U.S. is number 1 in percentage of incarcerated as a percentage of the total population. Never in the history of the world has been so many people in jail as a percentage of the population as in the United States. This ain't the land of the free, and somebody's making money off this shit. That's what's going on big time. So, if you want to know how the machine's going to keep going, this is how. So, there's going to be a lot of rules against it. There's going to be gun laws and everything else out there. So, to take away your freedoms. And as they take away your freedoms, they're going to get money out of you, extract the blood out of you one way or the other. Slavery in the United States of America by the evil New World Order. Anyway, this is what's going on. And this is why I can't stand a lot of these conservatives, because they're thinking, oh, well, you broke the law. You know what? That's because, you spit on a sidewalk or something. You know what I mean? It's like these conservatives are so freaking mean. What law did they break? What law did they break? What was it, over weed? I don't smoke weed, but a lot of this shit stuff is over weed. It's over nothing. It's over nothing. And probably in the future it's going to be over Second Amendment rights. Somebody has a gun. Oh, you can't have that because it's dangerous and you got to go to jail now and you got to freaking suffer and you got to be a slave forever. Oh, bullshit. Conservatives. Anyway, I don't like conservatives and I don't like liberals, to tell you the truth. The 2 largest private prison companies combined bring in $3 billion, not million, billion in revenue in 2010. And the largest private prison companies have spent tens of millions of dollars in lobbying, law and order, campaign contributions, 3 strikes and you're out, that kind of shit. You know what I mean? Same old garbage. Over the years, these political strategies have allowed private prison companies to promote policies that lead to higher rates of incarceration and thus greater profit margins for the company. So, basically, it provided incentive to get more and more people in jail. 3 strikes and you're out. Truth in sentences laws. That's the stuff they kind of lobbied for, and they just kept increasing their revenues. So it's an opportunity, man. It's a business opportunity. Slavery is a business opportunity, and we got it going on in the United States. So prior to 1980, there were virtually no private prisons in the United States. So this is going like gangbusters, man. And if you don't realize how much it's going on, here it is. 1,600% basically quadrupled inside of 27 years. That's a big thing. Now, to give you an example of how these people live in private prisons, one example was when auditors visited one private prison in Texas, they got so much fecal matter, in other words, shit, on their shoes, they had to wipe their feet on the grass outside. In other words, the people inside the prison were living in their own crap. How's that for a freaking life, huh? How's that? The gulag in the United States. Out of sight, out of mind. Where's the Christian? Oh, by the way, where's Lindsey Williams on this? Where's Pastor Lindsey Williams talking about this? Not on his DVD. You know what I mean? Another false Christian. I got to add that in there because he is. So, nobody's actually this should actually be like on the forefront of everything, because This is slavery, man. This is not prison. This is slavery. This is slavery. And a lot of these people are going to jail over bullshit, too. You know, it's over drug laws. It's going to be over gun things next, you know. One private prison company reportedly charges inmates $5 a minute to make a phone call, but they pay them $1 a day to work. Oh, great. Great. That's freaking fair. Anyway, well, you're in jail, you know, you deserve it. You did something wrong. Fuck you. You know what they got to do is they got to fill these up with these conservatives, too. Hey, you went to church, you conservative, you're a freaking terrorist. Hey, you got to go to prison. How's that? Anyway, you know, it's like when it's on them, you know, then they freaking wake up. Oh, you can't do that. Hey, you know what? It's like the Bill of Rights is for each and every individual in this country. It isn't over the, you know, who's conservative, who's Republican, who's Democrat, who's a liberal. None of that stuff. It's for each and every other person. And, you know, I got to point this out and just kind of get over to this news unit. I was watching this thing a little bit. He has on here, enemy moms rise up against dads in the U.S. Constitution. Naive women of mothers for gun sense. They're basically going against, you know, all the gun control. They're trying to go for gun control left and right. Well, you know what they're doing? They're setting up another thing for prison industries. Prison industries. That's what these moms are doing. The naive abolitionists of the 21st century. These women are going to screw up the planet. You know, I don't know. They just, it's surprising they just give them any kind of voice. There's a bunch of pussywood dorks out there freaking saying, oh, yes, baby. Anyway, but the police state is going to be also pushed for this. So as anybody freaking complains about their homeowner's insurance or, you know, whatever the hell it is, you're going to be deemed a terrorist. You're going to be deemed a terrorist because you have a gun, and you're going to go to a private prison. Ha, 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 ha. Due to moms of America and people like Feinstein and Boxer. God, women are cold, man. Women are cold. They're idiots. But this is what's going on. So this is what's been going on in America. Now, we have to remember that this trend is just starting. And this is the trend that's actually supporting the machine, the New World Order, the totalitarians. And if you want to figure out how it works at the military-industrial complex, the federal prison industry produces 100% of all military helmets, which includes, like, it's going to be Department of Homeland Defense, you know, ammunition, belts, bulletproof vests, ID tags, shirts, pants, tents, bags, and canteens. Also, 98% of the entire market for equipment assembly services, 93% of paints, 92% of stove assembly, 42.6% of body armor, 36% of home appliances. They're all over, man. So, this is the economy. And you know what? This actually is going to be fed by naive moms for gun sense or nonsense or gun nonsense. Anyway, but you know, it's amazing, you know, how you know, I watched this interview a little bit, and it's amazing. It's not amazing, though. This is usually what I say. You got this spineless, ballless male out there kowtowing down to these women, and I'm thinking to myself, I tell them, just shut the hell up. Sandy Hook was a freaking staged event. You know, even if these kids actually were killed, you know what's going to happen? You're going to have a totalitarian state, and you're going to fill up all these prisons because somebody's got all the guns, and they say, you guys and you women are going over to the slave camp, and you're going to produce goods for the elite. And she's going to be included, which I can care less, you know, but that would be fine by me. But that's what's going on. And it's conservatives and liberals alike are idiots. That's all I got to say. You know, the only thing that makes sense in the United States of anything is the Bill of Rights. And any woman or male that freaking tears up the Bill of Rights ought to be freaking out of here because they don't belong. They're not an American. They're not. See, the Bill of Rights, there's no compromise on it. It's not conservative. It's not liberal. It's about protecting everybody's rights. That's a totalitarian that wants to tear up the Bill of Rights, and that's what these moms are about too. So they're pushing for this shit too. But you know, they're almost like the damn stupid abolitionists and the crazy Christians from way back when, at the turn of the century, like banned the sale of alcohol. What'd they do? They practically wrecked the United States. They practically wrecked the United States. These Christian freaking nuts are some of the biggest enemies the United States going. That's what I look. That's how I look at them. And you know, you got these false pastors like Lindsey Williams, who has no flock other than the people he sells DVDs to. He doesn't tell you anything about this type of stuff because actually this is more important and more worrisome than anything that's going on in the United States today. Private prisons are slave camps, and the only way you're going to freaking be able to fight back is if you have a gun. And if you listen to these psycho moms for gun nonsense, they're basically going to freaking make sure that you have absolutely no means to fight back and stay away from these slave camps. So, you know, actually, I think these women need to go in there first and live in their own excrement and freaking work their ass off. And if they believe in this kind of shit, because this is what they're trying to impart on everybody else. So, today, private prison companies operate more than 50% of all youth correctional facilities in the United States. So basically, all these women's children, you know, they're being thrown into slave camps. So this is amazing. This is exactly how the military-industrial complex goes, because it's not all about money. You got to remember, you know, there's no number really assigned to something. But say, for instance, you know, if you had a whole bunch of slaves working for you, you might be saying, I don't have income, but, you know, somebody cuts my grass, somebody, you know, freaking fixes this, somebody does that for me. You know, I don't have to do anything because slaves work for me. There's no actual monetary number on this type of stuff because it's all free. You know, it's almost like, well, we have the same thing going on in the United States that goes on in China with the Lao guy. And the only way it's going to be stopped is if individual armed Americans stop it. Period. And, you know, these psycho moms for gun control, you know what they're going to be doing. They're pushing for slavery. And that's exactly what they're about. So, here's another thing. There's another cash for kids scheme. You know, old mom doesn't talk about that, but, you know, another one of these law and order type jerks. But basically all it is they're looking for bodies to fill up the prisons. And that means money, 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 money. So, this is a big trend that's been going on in the United States for a number of years, and this is actually what's supporting the, you know, the system itself, the evil system. And I'm not talking about the Bill of Rights. I'm talking about, you know, the totalitarian system, which these mobs are supporting too. So one of the best things we can do is to make sure we're armed, because the only way you're going to be able to stop this kind of shit is to fight back. You absolutely have no choice. You absolutely have no choice. You know, when you're cornered, you're just going to have to fight, and that's all there is to it. These moms, you know, like this type of stuff I've been watching on the news unit, you know, when they want to take away Americans' rights, I could care less if what happens to them. You know, most males would probably think, oh, I got to save her. I wouldn't save her. I wouldn't save her. I could care less, man. You know, I'd kick them right off the cliff themselves. I don't give a shit what she looked like, how sweet she talked, or anything. I have no sympathy for them at all, because basically they should have enough brains to know what the hell they're saying, but they don't have the freak. They don't want to think. They want to use their emotions, and they want their way, and which is usually the common reason. I want my way now. So, you know, when I say that, you can have it your way, baby. You know what? If you go to freaking, if the, you know, the Homeland Security decides to rape you, I won't defend them. I won't defend you. That's all there is to it. I won't do a damn thing. I won't lift a finger. But, you know, it's actually very naive people that are pushing this type of garbage, and a lot of times it's coming from, a lot of it's coming from the actual conservative Christian right. This kind of stuff. You know, you won't find liberals for this type. This is where I actually like almost lean liberal sometimes. You won't find liberals for this kind of crap, private prisons and stuff like that, and, you know, drug offenders should be punished and all this. You know, we got to stop crime, and 3 strikes you're out. You know, that's a bunch of bullshit. That's a bunch of bullshit. You know, actually, in some ways, that's where I agree with the liberals. But, you know, I'm not a liberal either. I'm not a liberal either. Either way, I guess that's what you call libertarian. I really believe in the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights is what protects each and every American as an individual, and that's what you need. And I'm not out for coddling the wishes of females crying about things too, because I've seen enough of that kind of garbage, and I've seen the spineless males that are freaking basically drones that work for them forever. I would throw my money in the trash and then burn it before I give it to one of those bitches. That's what I would do. I swear to God, if I had $1 billion and I had to leave it to some bitch, I'll tell you what, it would be 5 miles down in the ocean. Go get it, honey. That's what I would do. It's scorched earth, because I got no sympathy for that kind of shit. I go by the old school, and the old school is actually 100% on the side of the Bill of Rights, not just the Second Amendment, but the First Amendment and all the other amendments that we have, because the whole deal is about individual rights, and slavery is something we do not need in this country at all. Civil War was fought against slavery, and here we got it coming back again. Private prisons, slavery. Slavery, slavery, slavery. And here we got women talking about, oh, we got to take away the guns. Oh, yeah, we need slavery. I think these freaking women need to get put in these prisons first, because that is the actual only effective way to end this kind of garbage, because they need to see what the hell they're talking about, what they're actually going to be pushing on the American people with their naive policies. They're like the psycho-abolitionist Christians at the turn of the century. They're never going to wake up until it hits them square in the face. So I got to say this about this: we don't need slavery in the United States. Period. And the only way to freaking not be a slave is to own a gun. Own a gun. So that's it. Free men have guns, slaves don't. That's all there is to it. And these naive women, they could be slaves. I don't care. I don't kowtow to any of them. Period.